In which measure a shuffle can help the situation right now that you are in, according to the polls?
Okay, first it's important to remember why we had created the CAQ. Kevin haven't talked before about the ADQ. I think we need to put together defending what we are, our values, our language, and the economy. And in the next few years, because of Donald Trump, the economy will be the priority for Quebecers. And I think we have the best team. So I think right now we need a team that know how.
So what you're saying, Premier Legault, is that's it?
That's it.
Uh-huh. All right. James Mennie is on the line over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, it's hard not to laugh when you hear him say that they're going to focus on the economy, which is the thing they've done probably worse than anything else.
Well, absolutely. And the fact is, the walls are closing in. And as I say in my little sked to you, he is pounding the reset button big time. And don't kid yourself. I found it very intriguing. I was quite surprised at the fact he was announcing. Who the hell announces a cabinet shuffle months before it occurs? Who are you putting on notice? Or are you, in fact, sending a message to the rest of the caucus that, you know what, come and audition, come and show me how smart you are? I really think, Aaron, maybe not this fall, definitely this spring. He's not going to wait till October for the election. He's got to turn this around sooner rather than later. It's just going to be the death of a thousand cuts otherwise. So I think he's really going to try and repurpose, rebrand the Coalition Avenir Québec, and hope that he can turn things around, and hope as well. And listen, much in the same way as the CAQ enjoyed an extremely, ridiculously long grace period, thanks to an evenly divided opposition and the pandemic, and quite frankly, no real singular voice turning around saying, you guys don't know what you're doing. I think now the shoe is on the other foot, and I think that the onus is on the opposition parties to perform. I think to a certain extent, Monsieur Legault is going to be counting on that. And frankly, once you're out there and you've got to sell, you're not turning around saying Francois Legault sucks. Everyone knows that. We have the polls to prove it. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to bring for me? And then you're not just have Francois Legault coming after you. You're going to have every other party leader coming after you, whether it's Quebec Solidaire and the PQ, the Liberals and Quebec Solidaire. Everyone's going to be shooting at everybody else. And this is where you find out who, in fact, has the wherewithal to be the next premier of Quebec. Because so far, nobody, whether it's Pablo Rodriguez, whether it's Paul Saint-Pierre Plamont, whether it's Ruben Gazal, they have not, or perhaps Eric Zering, we'll see what happens when they finally call the by-election, which they didn't do today. We'll find out who has got the stuff that we need. Because right now, the idea of pointing the finger at Francois Legault, we all know that. That's yesterday's news. Tell us what you're going to do for us. And especially, you better get your act together sooner rather than later, because if Francois Legault sees that you are in disarray, sees that you are making mistakes, seeing that you are tripping over your own feet because all of a sudden you've got a campaign, he may just pull that trigger, and we will have an early vote, and God help you.
I can't, as you said, Jim, first of all, the idea of publicly announcing this cabinet shuffle struck, I think, me even as odd, and I don't know as much about this as you do. Is this because this is the only thing he could say? What else was he going to pull out of, his magic trick? I don't understand. Like, what else could he have said?
Listen, I honestly thought he was calling this to set a date for the by-election, to take questions on the latest poll results, to talk about, where Quebec's economy is going. I mean, we're still in the middle of a trade war, for crying out loud. Yeah. The last thing I expected him to say was, oh, yeah, I'm going to shuffle my cabinet, maybe in the fall. I have never heard of anybody, and I apologize to anybody out there who's going to text you and say, well, no, I remember something. No, I've never heard of a government leader announcing a cabinet shuffle months in advance. So this is completely off the beaten track. So the idea, I think the message he wants to put out there is that I realize there's a problem. I'm going to change things. Don't you worry about it. Mon oncle François is in charge. everything's going to be fine, which is, and my conviction is growing, Aaron. I mean, I have nothing other than instinct to go on, but my conviction is growing. Like I say, he's not going to wait until October of next year. Absolutely not.
He's getting ready to walk. All right, speaking of trade wars, you brought up trade, and of course today, sort of out of nowhere, Donald Trump, don't know if you heard the clip on the news, basically telling Canada, okay, whatever deal we have, it's done. You're going to be paying your thing because we are introducing, or I guess he said we're joining with the EU in introducing this digital tax on American companies. Do we put some substance in this or what?
Well, first of all, it's for real because of the taxes there, and the first installment was supposed to be paid on Monday, $2 billion. So clearly, the tech bros down the States have called in their markers with everyone's favorite stooge, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is also in desperate need of a distraction, especially on a Friday afternoon. Consider the week he's had. He made an ass of himself internationally with his bungling of the entire Iran operation that involved U.S. forces. His big, beautiful bill is meeting a lot more opposition than he thought it would, and people are finally figuring out that he is literally taking billions of dollars in benefits away from lower-income Americans to give tax breaks to the billionaires who obviously put this latest move through. And last but not least, the GDP numbers came out very recently. I think it was this week. Yeah. Down by 0.5%. It's not working. The master negotiator, the 12th dimensional chess master is nothing more than an incompetent blowhard. So what does he do? He just knocks all the pieces off the table, Aaron. In fact, he overturns the table and says, I am breaking off all trade talks. And I loved how the prime minister reacted. Talks are continuing. In other words, we're not going to be distracted by this buffoon, my assessment, not his. And we're just going to keep soldiering on. In fact, Philippe-François Champagne, our finance minister, suggested, and I think he's smarter than that to suggest it publicly, which means everyone knew that it was on the table, that this government was perhaps ready to rethink this tax in order to win some other concessions in trade talks. And that may well yet happen. But right now, please, the last thing on Donald Trump's mind is the U.S. economy, or whether he'll be able to salvage his tariff agenda. Right now, Donald Trump is in excruciating agony, as most malignant narcissists are, when people laugh at them, and that's exactly what happened during the press conference he gave during the NATO meeting in the Netherlands. The press corps over there are not, bought lapdogs like they are in the White House, and some of them couldn't control their laughter when they heard him talking. So yeah, he's had a terrible week. He'll yell at us. He'll throw something at the wall between our apartments and say, "Shut up," keep it down over there. And and by Monday he'll have forgotten about it. But the fact is, the word's out big time, and perhaps long overdue. It's out in the United States about Donald Trump. This is a guy who doesn't know what he's doing, and really, how much longer are you going to put up with it?
Yeah, and to your point, by the way Mark Carney handled it, I agree with you. I thought that was actually, kind of really, as they say, statesman-like, diplomatic, however you want to phrase it. I thought that was great. Don't give this guy any more oxygen than he already has, right? So good for him. All right, Jim, we will leave it at that. You have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
You too, buddy.